Hello and welcome to the Wellness Agents. We're thriving in changing times and there's always more to learn is what we stand for. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Karen. And we're going to be talking to you today about a very important topic that's not well discussed, particularly part of it anyway, and that is protecting yourself energetically. Of course, that would also be physically, but also grounding and earthing, which is very loaded in scientific backup for that. So, Sarah, what words would you put around protection? When we're talking protect yourself, what would you, how would
I
you word?
always, yeah, I always think of it in terms of energy management, which I've sort of banged on about for a number of years, but it's like each individual, we are energetic beings and we all need to take responsibility for our energetic management. And that comes down to, when you walk into a room or you meet someone, you carry with you energetically certain imprints that you're carrying depending upon your thoughts, what you've just come from, the environment you've just come from, and you bring that. So if you are ruminating over something really heavy and you bring that in to this meeting with this person, you bring all that baggage with you. And if someone's really sensitive, they'll feel that. It's like, if you could see the energy, it's like, ooh, that's sort of like, step back. Or it's like walking into a room where there's just been some disharmony or an incident or an argument. It's like you can actually feel it. So protection and grounding for me is managing that so that you take responsibility how you present and show up in the world for what you're carrying, and that's on all those levels of physical, pranic, emotional, mental and spiritual. So grounding and protection for me is looking after all those aspects and showing up with awareness of what you're carrying. And it doesn't mean that we deny what we're carrying. If we really are going through some grief or something, then it's like be real about that. And when you show up, don't just say, yeah, I'm good, I'm fine, like every Tom, Dick and Harry does. How are you today? Yeah, I'm fine. And it's not always that you want the whole story, but you could say, no, I'm not doing so well today. But anyway, let's carry on. It's like just sort of getting people to own what they feel, because when you own it, then of course that sort of helps manage it as well. So it's about being aware. Awareness, I think, is the first thing, because I think a lot of people are not aware.
For me, that awareness is, this is my next thing I've got to work on next time I go and have a session with someone. It's like,
Yeah,
this is in my head doing its loop when you go
yeah,
into sleep, or when you do have that quiet moment and it's like round and around and around, and the what ifs and the maybes and all that sort of stuff. We get tired of that. And that's how I explain to my clients. That's when you know you've got something. Like sometimes people will turn up and they go, actually, I'm feeling pretty good, I don't know what, and we'll work in what we say is in the clear, so we're not targeting a thing. But quite often it'll be, I'm just sick of being annoyed by this person at work, or one of my kids said something like the other day and it's really rattled me, or they're great. They're great things to clear because, okay, one of your kids might have said it, but it's something that's been impacting your life for probably a really long time without you naming
yeah,
it or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
recognizing it. Yeah.
And we often carry all of that subconsciously, even
Yeah.
unconsciously, and it sits in the tissues and it contributes to ill health really at the end of
And
the day.
pain and that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Sure.
so it is very much about that. And there's always things we can do. So I suppose the purpose of our chats here and sharing this information on a wider platform is to empower you to know that you could have a toolkit that when you notice that you might not be able to get some professional help, or you might not always need that level of help, but if we can empower you with tools that you can start to use, one, to become aware of it, but two, then to actually deal with it. So, grounding and using crystals, like, we have been talking about crystals for grounding and protection. You might have something on that is a protective stone that you're wearing, or you might have forgotten to put it on, or you could do that to help, because we're crystalline. And when we start using these crystals from the earth, they affect our energetics. So they will support you in helping to dissipate or manage some of that stuff. And then for me, it's getting my bare feet on the ground or my hands in the ground or getting in the garden. That's my biggest grounding tool, getting into nature. That is such a powerful thing. And I think Karen's got some scientific research to share from something you recently watched about grounding. There is a lot on it. There's books on it about what it does and why you feel better. Whenever I'm feeling a bit out of sorts or know that I'm coming down with something, I'll go and lie on the lawn for a couple of hours.
One of the first things, this guy's name is Dr. Doan. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced, Doan. And he's like got a lot of science behind him, but he's been able to apply it beautifully. Like the science he's looking at, he makes a point of saying they're independent researchers. They're not backed by any particular big corporation, so they're not trying to sell anything. And indeed, on one site, he is promoting grounding sheets, but he made a point of saying, they're not sponsoring me. This is just, I needed to put this in to show you that these are ways that you can go about grounding when you're resting and get more out of your sleep. But one of the one that I watched, he had 3 reasons for the value of grounding and earthing. But I just love this one, is like you were saying, to get on the beach, to get in the garden, but to actually like dig in or be barefoot on the beach and stuff like that. Because how many people do we see walking the beach with shoes on?
I know. I just can't even. It doesn't feel right to me. When my brain sees it, it's like, that's not right. Get those shoes off.
You're right near the water, and okay, in winter the sand is cold, but if you get actually to where the water is, the sand's a bit warmer, and but it's bearable. We've been able to do it. There's been very few days that we do live in a good corner of the earth.
We do,
But one of his statements is, the earth is a battery holding negative charged electrons fueled by lightning. Like he said, they even know how many lightning strikes happen to Earth, but that is actually recharging the battery. And we want to be having a lot of exposure to negative ions because we are that electrical being. And then he takes it into the minerals that are within our body, within the nervous system, that cause the nervous impulse to go from A to B. And if we're too acidic with positive voltage, that's it impairs wound healing. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And we showed a photo of someone had a diabetic ulcer on their ankle, and with the nursing background, diabetic ulcers can be really, really hard to resolve. And this woman had this one for something like 7 or 9 months or something. And it was about like reasonable size. I could have moved my hand the right way.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks of altering the electrical stimulation. Like they've got devices now that in 3 weeks it's almost healed.
Yeah.
And it had this wound for months.
Yeah.
And I've seen it where people have had them for years, so, and they just they start to heal and then they break down again, and they start to heal and then they break down. So just thinking of that, you don't have to pay any money to go down. No. If you don't have a garden yourself, go to a public park, put your backside on the grass and maybe do some free weeding for the council, because pull out the prickles in the grass or something like that. But, actually be immersing yourself.
Yeah.
Besides what it does for you mentally. And so he was pointing out, so grounding impacts positively against the inflammation, which anybody that's got fibromyalgia type condition has inflammation.
I think we all have inflammation, to be
I was
honest.
going to say that.
Yeah, I think we all have varying degrees of it.
Yeah. And if you're a bit arthritic or,
Yes.
like or a lot arthritic sort of thing, certainly cancers. And then he brought in the Earth's Schumann resonance. So we
Yeah.
know how that already reads how the Earth is traveling emotionally. And then the last bit was he speaks about extremely low frequencies, ELF. So it's like ELF, EMF, so electromagnetic frequencies. And they're basically all man-made, the ELF.
Yeah.
So they're our devices and our smart meters and our
Shocking.
things that are not going to go away, because
we've got to manage it. Yeah, we have to learn to live with it. Yeah. And that's why these tools can be helpful, but I think also you need a toolkit of varying things, and you need to have it written down, because when you are at your worst and you are in a stress state, the body's out of rhythm, you don't always remember what you know, and you might have your toolkit and you've got the things, but you forget. So I would suggest you write dot points and you stick it on the fridge, or you stick it on your bathroom mirror, or you have it in a notebook that you carry with you, and then when you are in that state, get it out and have a look and then do it, because we need to alter that state to then be able to help ourselves. And one of the quickest ways of altering our state is something that we've all got within us, and that's our breath. So, we can take a deep breath in and we can sigh it out. And there's one tool, 3 sighs, has been researched to show that it changes the chemical structure from the brain to the nervous system. 3 sighs. So if you can just stop and take 3 sighs and then look at your list, or then think about, now what do I need to do? So you might need a reminder to take 3 sighs. So put it somewhere, put it on your car dashboard, put it on your fridge, put it wherever you need it, put it on your front door, put it where, it doesn't hurt to take 3 sighs throughout the day and reset yourself. But we do
a lot of things quite probably unconsciously, in that when you aren't traveling that well, it is more likely that you go,
it's the body's way.
So we just got to do 2 more.
Yeah, and yawning is the body's way of saying, it's about time you took a bit of air in. Or the other breath that I wanted to share is the humming breath. It's called Brahmari in the yogic tradition, and Brahmari has got research around it, and it's had some amazing results. Not in your mainstream research, but people that aren't getting funded and people that really care about, what's happening to their patients and the people that they support. And just examples of what it does do, it does affect the pineal, the pituitary, and the hypothalamus. And what they found is that humming makes or initiates the release of melatonin.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is a calming chemical. So if you can hum and start to, your whole nervous system is going to come down. It's just like, take a breath in, and hum like a bee, and and just you'll notice when you start humming, because you're slowing the out breath, that the hum can go on for quite some time. And then when you take your next in breath, it's going to be much deeper, because you've actually got rid of the whole of the previous breath. So then the next in breath is deeper, and then you can hum again, and then the next in breath is even deeper again. So you actually are slowing the breath down, calming the nervous system, resetting your vagal tone. So it's promoting calmness, and it's within us all. It's a natural thing.
And you're also distracting yourself from what might have been annoying you, because you've brought that thought process back to, I'm going to focus on my breath for a bit.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting. It's in this book, Eastern Body, Western Mind. It's where I was looking in the index, and I was a little bit surprised that there was a contraindication to grounding. And I thought, well, I suppose everything's got its contraindication. You can have too much water, you can have not enough water, sort of thing. But anyway, if the person is so frightened of having anything to do with her body that she cannot concentrate on the exercises, then starting with grounding is contraindicated. And I thought that's really interesting. And I can remember my son saying he was having a real problem with anxiety a few years back. And I'd suggested that he either, because he didn't live in the same state, so it was like I couldn't help him directly. And I said, what about trying to find a yoga group or somewhere where you're moving, but it's quieter? And he said, Mum, if I did anything remotely like meditation, I'd explode. My head would explode. So what they've suggested here is that then trust has to be built. But I was one, yeah, and then I asked the person to imagine roots anchoring her to the earth. And it's very much like you take us through with our activation when we're doing the yoga, is like taking, imagining roots through your feet and stretching into the earth, and then, you know, that whole, and just talking them through, because they just possibly don't have a quiet enough mind to be able to
to do anything.
And so where you can help, I will show you. It's certainly learned in kinesiology, but I think it's ancient. Holding your forehead and the back of your head, it's called frontal occipital hold within kinesiology, or the more discreet version, because people might not want to walk through the shops holding their head like that, but is to put index finger to thumb and third finger on the nail. Let me get the cameras there. And you could have your arms folded, hands in your pocket, just walking by your side. I have been in an argument like that, but I always say my excuse is I married an Italian, part Italian man. But what that does energetically, as in the yoga tradition where you've got the mudras, I think it's a mudra, and it is a more discreet version. Because you're not going to walk through the
And
shop.
all these things, all they do, all of what they're doing is, when you think about it, these are open circuits, these are closed. This is an open circuit, this is closed. So it's like we're containing and bringing back so that we can reset. But
there's a lot of neurological stuff going on there, because you're drawing the attention out to the cortex, which is your more clear thinking part of the brain, as opposed to being stuck in that emotional part of the brain. But that's for when you're in like extreme, overwhelm, and or hearing or seeing something that's really awful. But so I just thought it was very interesting with the protection. At the moment, we've got so many energies. We're getting all those solar flares, and even if people don't even know that, they know they're feeling more tired than usual without it, a clear explanation. There's a lot of angry people out there.
Yes, there is.
A lot of high emotion, not necessarily positive. And so flower essences and essential oils and all those other tools that could be seen as a bit on the woo side, they actually really work. And if you're, there's some really good, but with essential oils ain't oils. You do want to get quality, and you don't have to pay a bomb. There's quality out there that's, but
and also local, Karen. Like, isn't it like in where we live, we've got beautiful tinderbox. And sometimes
it's got an online service to it. So
and sometimes if you source what's local to you, there's a synergy in that. There's we're very multidimensional beings, and it's sometimes good to seek what's local to you, because that can be more potent than paying 3 times as much for something that comes from the other side of the world.
And like I laugh with Manuka honey, like it's got to be Manuka to have any. Our eucalyptus honeys.
That's a good example. That's a good example. Local honey.
And like, love the Kiwis. They're our cousins, and we love to have a bit of a, mocking friendship with them, but sort of thing. But man, they do the best marketing. And
yes, it's about the marketing. Yes,
And
So yeah,
yeah,
there's
so
there's
just a lot of local stuff that's available.
yeah, there's going to be a lot of local things around you. So I think in essence of this talk about grounding and protection, there isn't a lot about it out there. There isn't a lot about how to protect yourself. So it's have this checklist and just have a few dot points about, you might say, oh no, crystals don't do it for me, but essential oils will. Or so pick what you do, but breath work will do it for everyone. So
Yep.
put breathing on the top of the list, put grounding on the top of the list, and then put crystals or the
Go for a
ocean.
walk in the park or go down.
Yeah, nature, humming, whatever it is, a
Yeah.
spray. I love the flower essence or essential oil sprays because you can just carry it in your bag, spray it, and you just automatically your whole field is changed.
Yeah.
It's very effective. So, but you need to be armed with these things. So make a dot list of 3 or 4 things and type it out or write it on a piece of card or a sticky note and put it around and start using it because one awareness, stop and notice how you're feeling, and then have your toolkit to change and take responsibility for managing your energy and use these free resources. It doesn't have to cost much. Your breath doesn't cost you anything. The earth, the bare feet on the earth doesn't cost you anything. And the results of that are profound. And quite often, when something's easy, it's discounted. When it's cheap and it's easy and it's super effective, often people don't think it could work because that's how we've been indoctrinated to think, isn't it?
Well, even like where you think with the crystals, that that's been completely dissed, and yet it's ancient, the
Ancient.
biblical stuff,
Yeah.
and we live in an amazing state of Australia where our mineral resources are very abundant, but we've got, like, if jasper was the value it was in biblical
Yes.
times, whoa,
Yeah.
it'd run our gold and our steel, our
Yeah.
iron export sort of thing. So we're very lucky in some ways, but we're also, from what I understand, but who knows, one of the oldest land masses because we're so flat. We don't we have suburbs that have a Mount Lawley or a Mount Claremont, but there's no mountains.
No, no, no.
Might be a hill.
Yeah. Might be a bit of a range, but that's about it. And these crystals, get your little holders that you can put them in, and put them around your neck, or some that already come with something to attach them to you. Wear
Or
them on
as
your
jewellery like
jewelry.
you're wearing, yes,
Yeah.
and on your neck. You've got a beautiful
Yeah.
pendant on.
Yeah. It's they're meant to be used and they resonate with us. And in ancient times, they were on crystal tools that people used in healing in ancient times. They were on the breastplates of warriors. The crystals, like you were talking about, the jasper, they were there for a reason because they're protective and they're grounding and they keep you connected to your source. And that's what we really want to help you transverse these times because we've got amazing energies coming into this planet. We are ascending. Mother Earth is ascending and we're ascending with her, but it's not going to be an easy ride if you don't open your mind and start feeling what it's doing to you from the inside out. You've got to feel it. You've really got to feel it, and then use these tools to transmute it into higher states of consciousness. That's what we're being asked to do.
At the end of the day, it's all about frequency, isn't it?
It
And when you're
is
feeling really
frequency.
flat, you'll find your frequency's low.
Yeah.
And that's also find a therapist that can help raise that so that you can function better and be able to incorporate more of the tools that you've probably already got
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, coming back to common sense and simple things. So I hope that's been helpful. Is there anything else, Karen, you wanted to share before we sign
No,
off?
I was just really surprised at how much independent research had gone into the earthing and grounding. I do, as a reflection, I was saying to Sarah that we didn't really get taught a lot about protecting ourselves when clients are coming in and the energies that they bring in. So I've had to do a lot of self-development on that. And so, like I'm actually recording from the room that I work in, and it is gridded by crystals. It gets regular essential oil and flower essence spraying. I smudged the other day. That's something you can do for your house. And
Yeah.
if you did do it, it feels
Oh,
different.
totally feels different. I do it often in the home and in my studio here. Yeah, it's amazing. It's
And
a
so,
lovely process to do. And also sound. Even if you go around clapping, if you clap, that'll break up hard, dense energy. So if you've got a bell or a bowl, but even
your
if you haven't got
bells,
anything, you just clap
yeah,
your hands. And
yeah,
clapping your hands around your body, clapping on your body, even that will break up density.
disrupts it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's
So
true.
no, I think we've covered it all, but I guess it is about there's always more to learn. I was really
Yes.
surprised when I actually went looking for the specific topic, what hasn't been written. Like it was a bit hard to find about the protection, but there's a reasonable amount out there. And I do recommend if anyone's interested in following more at the scientific level, because this Dr. Doan is an eye surgeon, a neuro whether it was a neurophysician, I think, and then he also worked with helping astronauts and the space industry, the human physiology around that. So he knows his stuff, but I think like not really aligned with big industry, maybe.
Yeah, we can put the link. If you've got a link, we can put that in the
Yeah.
description below and you can do a bit more research about that. But yeah, meanwhile, we acknowledge there is always more to learn. Thriving in changing times is what we want to help you do. And we hope this has been helpful. Please give us a like, a share, subscribe to the channel. Let's grow this channel and spread the word. We do have crystals available for you if you want to get some. Check the website out. There's a link below for that. And we'll be back again in about a month. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
This content is created for informational purposes only. Always seek the guidance of a qualified health professional with any questions you may have regarding your personal health.